Hello, everyone. My name is John Howe-Wemett. I'm the financial planner here at Generation Capital Management, and this is another episode of John's Top Tips. Well, is it just me, or did this year fly by? At the end of each year, I like to take a minute and look back on my not only the choices that I made in terms of my personal life, but also the choices I made in terms of my financial life as well. I call this my financial reflection. So let's get into that a little bit. The first thing that I like to think about is, did I have to dip into my savings? And if I did, when did I have to dip into my savings? Dipping into our savings means that we're essentially running at a monthly deficit, or there's a certain point during the year where we have a deficit that means that we have to take money out of our savings. So, are your savings lower now than they were at the start of the year? That means that overall we ran at a deficit and had to take more money out of our savings to cover our expenses. How many times did you have to take that money out of your savings? That could be indicative of a greater overall cash flow problem, or if you're just putting all of your money into your savings instead of putting enough money into your checking account, that could be indicative of that as well. And the big question is, why did you need to move that money from your savings account? Were there big one-time items, stuff that popped up, kind of an emergency like a house repair, something along those lines, or was it to cover your regular expenses? It's important to be aware of why we're spending and what we're spending on, so that we can make more informed and better financial choices in the future. It's also important to be self-reflective about our missteps. Uh, some of the questions that we might want to ask ourselves is, where could we have made better choices? It takes a second to step back and be honest. There's so much money floating around right now in terms of the cost of living rising, exactly our expenses rising on a it seems like a daily basis. You just have to take a step back and be honest with yourself and think, well, where did I need to make better choices? It might not be the case that you made bad choices. You just need to at least understand that there was something that might have caused you to make different choices than you would have, or significantly less than optimal choices. If you did have missteps, think about how you could be less impulsive. Oftentimes, there's an impulse section at the grocery store for a reason, right? We have these impulses sometimes when we're buying. Our emotions do play a significant portion in our interactions with money. So it's just important to be aware of when we're feeling impulsive about money. And sometimes, on the opposite end of that, sometimes we do need to be quicker to act. A perfect example of this is a house repair or something along those lines, where our failure to act causes us to eventually spend more money in the end. Things like healthcare too. If we prevent things from happening, if we prevent our health from deteriorating, it's often less expensive for us in the short term and in the long term. But don't forget that overall, the past is the past. If you did make bad choices in the past, there's great news. You have a chance to make strong financial decisions today and moving forward. Every day is a new opportunity to make those strong financial choices. So if you look at it from my perspective, I make financial plans all day, right? If Our financial plans, they only look forward, they don't look back at the things that you did do. But now, if you're having a moment where you're realizing that you overspent, or that you did things less than optimally over the past year, it could be a great time to reach out to me as a financial planner. I'd love to help you figure out how to make some changes. You can email me directly at jhow@gencapmgmt.com. I'd love to have a conversation with you. We offer free consultations, so don't hesitate to reach out. Again, my name is John Howe-Wemett. I am the financial planner here at Generation Capital Management, and this was another episode of John's Top Tips.